The boardroom was always cold. Not uncomfortable, just controlled. The kind of cold that reminded you this room didn't belong to you. Glass walls framed the skyline like a trophy. Men in tailored suits sat around the long polished table, speaking in numbers, decisions, power. And me, I stood, not seated, not acknowledged, just there. Because in their world, I wasn't part of the conversation. I was part of the background. "Let's wrap this up," my boss said, flipping through a thick stack of papers with visible impatience. That stack was mine. 3 weeks of analysis, market projections, risk modeling, everything they needed to survive the Titan merger. I stepped forward slightly. "There's a risk factor in section 4 you should review before." That's when it happened. He didn't even let me finish. With a lazy flick of his wrist, he tossed the entire report off the table. Pages scattered across the floor. Not dropped. Discarded. Like it had no value. Like I had no value. "Pick it up, Sarah," he said. The room laughed. Not loudly. Not openly. Just enough. The kind of laughter that confirms your place without saying it. "You're just support staff," he added, leaning back like the moment bored him. Support staff. That word hit harder than anything else, because it wasn't anger. It was dismissal. "Your job is to fetch coffee, fix the printer, and stay out of conversations you don't understand." More laughter. Across the table, I glanced at my husband. Vice President. My husband. He didn't look at me, didn't move, didn't react. He was too busy checking his phone, laughing at something someone else sent. That told me everything. I bent down, picked up the pages, one by one, carefully. Not because I agreed, because I was done explaining. Around me, the meeting continued. "The Titan Global merger is our last shot," one board member said. "If this fails, we're done." My boss smirked. "It won't fail," he said confidently. Of course he thought that, because he believed he was in control. "CEO lands in an hour," he added. "We close today." Then, without even looking at me, "Sarah, make sure the executive lounge is spotless." A pause. Then the final line. "And try to stay out of sight. We don't need the help ruining the aesthetic." Laughter again. This time sharper, because even they knew that was too much. I gathered the last page, stood up, walked out. No reaction. No emotion. Just silence. Because silence isn't weakness. It's timing. The hallway felt warmer. Or maybe I just didn't belong in that room anymore. I didn't go to the executive lounge. Didn't check anything. Didn't fix anything. Because that wasn't my role. Not anymore. I walked straight out of the building, into the parking garage. My car sat there quietly, unnoticed, just like me. From their perspective, I opened the door, sat inside, closed it. Silence. Real silence. I reached into the back seat, pulled out a different coat. Charcoal. Structured. Powerful without trying. I put it on, then picked up my phone, scrolled once, tapped to contact. The call connected instantly. No delay. No questions. "I'm ready," I said. A pause. Then, understood. "I want the Titan merger halted," I added calmly. Another pause. Longer, because now things were moving. "And notify their executive team," I continued. "Their principal is already here." "Yes, ma'am." Call ended. I leaned back, closed my eyes for a second, because everything was already in motion. You see, they thought Titan Global was just a client, a deal, an opportunity. They didn't realize it was mine. They thought they were negotiating power. They didn't realize they were reporting to it. And in less than an hour, they were going to find out. I didn't rush back, because power never rushes. It arrives exactly when it's expected and destroys everything when it's not. By the time I re-entered the building, the atmosphere had changed. Not visibly, not yet, but you could feel it. Tension, subtle, unspoken, the kind that builds right before something breaks. I didn't go through the main floor. I walked straight to the boardroom, and this time, I didn't stand at the edge. I sat at the far end of the table, the same room, the same people, but something was different, because this time, I wasn't invisible. The door opened. Titan Global's CEO walked in. Confident, controlled, the kind of presence that doesn't need introduction. My boss stood immediately, adjusting his tie, smile perfectly rehearsed. "Welcome," he said. "We're ready to finalize." Of course he was, because he thought this was his moment. The CEO didn't sit, didn't look at the contract. Instead, he looked at me, and that's when everything stopped. "We won't be signing today," he said. Silence. Immediate. Complete. My boss blinked, confused, then forced a laugh. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." "There hasn't," the CEO replied. Calm. Flat. Final. My principal declined the merger. The room froze. "Principal," my boss repeated. His voice wasn't confident anymore. It was uncertain, because now, control was slipping. I stood up, slowly, walked to the head of the table, and pulled the contract toward me. "That would be me," I said. Silence. Heavy. Real. Because now, there was no denying it. "That's not possible," my boss said. But even he didn't believe it. "You called me support staff," I said calmly. His face changed. Color draining. Reality setting in. "And you were right," I continued. Pause. Because now, he remembered. I supported this entire company. The words landed like a final verdict. "You thought Titan was your client." I leaned forward slightly. "You were reporting to it, and I own it." The room didn't move, because everything had already ended. "Deal's off," I said. And just like that, it was done. But that wasn't the end. That was just the beginning. The next morning, the building was chaos. Not loud chaos. Not screaming. Worse. Silent panic. Employees standing in clusters. Phones ringing nonstop. Security moving faster than usual. And at the center of it, my boss, the same man who laughed yesterday, was standing in the lobby, pale, disoriented. "Where are they?" he snapped at someone. "They're on their way," the assistant replied nervously. And then they arrived. 2 black cars, 3 officials, and a legal team. No announcements. No drama. Just authority. Liquidators. The word he thought was just a threat was now standing in front of him. "This company is now under financial administration," one of them said. Formal. Cold. Final. "That's not possible," my boss said again. But this time, no one responded, because denial doesn't stop reality. "We need immediate access to all financial records," the lead officer added. Security stepped forward. Not to protect him, to control him. Wait, we can fix this," my boss stuttered. That was new. Yesterday, he didn't stutter. Yesterday, he decided who mattered. Today, he was begging. I watched from across the lobby. Calm. Still. Because this moment was earned. He saw me. Of course he did. Because now, I was the only thing that made sense. "Sarah," he rushed toward me. Desperate. "We can talk. This is a misunderstanding." "No," I said. One word. Enough. Because now, there was nothing to discuss. "You threw my work on the floor," I continued. Not angry. Not emotional. Just clear. Another pause. Because now, he remembered. "You told me to fix the printer." His face broke. Completely. Because now, he understood. Not just what happened, what it meant. "Please," he said quietly, That word didn't belong to him. But now,
It did.
behind him, employees were being asked to leave. Systems shutting down. Access revoked. The company was collapsing. In real time, I stepped closer. Just enough. So here's what's going to happen, I said.
Come.
Controlled. Final. You're going to learn exactly how things work. A pause. Because timing still mattered. When you're not the one in control. Security stepped in.
Gently.
But firmly, escorting him away. And just like that, he was removed.
From his own company.
As I turned to leave, I saw my husband standing there, frozen, shock written all over his face. For the first time,
He looked at me.
really looked. Sarah, he said. But I didn't stop, because some things don't deserve a response. I walked past him, out of the building, into the same world. But everything had changed, because yesterday, I was just support staff. And today, I ended everything.